You made the mistake of staying in a relationship and knocking up a woman that didn't have genuine burning desire for you because you already knew that she wasn't going to be intimate with you when you started to have sex with her and unloading to have a kid.
Genuine burning desire is somebody who just likes you, somebody who's just into you, like who likes you, love who loves you, and give them the best that you got. Don't work hard and jump through all these hoops for this woman that just does not want you. Why would anybody do that?
Because you already knew that she wasn't going to be intimate with you when you started to have sex with her and unloading to have a kid due to her demands, obviously. And I'm sure something to do with residency or a green card was in there somewhere. So guys, pay attention. Don't make a mistake like this guy. If you're this guy, I'm talking to you, obviously, get out. This is not going to get better. You are not going to find a way to make this better. She is not going to take any kind of therapy or counseling, and you putting your foot down won't change anything. In fact, you putting your foot down and trying to set boundaries will probably make things worse. Women like this don't respect boundaries. And had you vetted for that early on when you were dating with her, or dating her at the time, then you would have just said, I'm out. You're better off being alone than dealing with a psychopath like this.
What's good, y'all, and welcome back to Perspective. And if this is your first time, welcome. In this edition of Unsolicited Opinions, I'm reacting to a video by the YouTube channel Entrepreneurs in Cars. And in that video, he gives out some sound advice to a man who's having a terrible time in his marriage. The title of that video is How This Man's Life Changed After Marrying an Asian Woman. Be sure to get in the comments and share your perspectives. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, do subscribe. Without anything further, let's get into it.
That has turned his home into the most uncomfortable place in his life. Let's just dive right into this and see what we got going on in our...
All right, first of all, I hate to interrupt so soon, but first of all, I thought Asian women were supposed to be the most docile, easiest, man-worshipping, non-confrontational women to ever exist inside of the Milky Way galaxy. Let me guess, this particular woman is an outlier. She's the one Asian woman to ever turn a Western man's life upside down. Okay, well, let's see here.
Back to it. So apparently he's been following the channel for 3 years. He's in his mid-30s, six-figure income. And again, my Chinese wife has turned my home into the most uncomfortable place in my life. I know that I should leave, but I have held out for my son because she had threatened to take him away to China. Our relationship started when she quickly expressed that she had no interest in being physical with me until she came back from a business trip and was all over me. It's a bad start. You do not want to get...
So she expressed she had no desire of being with him physically. Major red flag. But I'll take a guess and assume that this was never a factor when he was pursuing women in the West. Women in the United States were all over him like stank on shit, but he still chose to flee the country in pursuit of a woman that would show him something totally different? Yeah, I don't think so, but all right.
Not want to get involved with women that aren't enthusiastic to be with you to begin with. Anyway, she comes back from her business trip and is all over him like a fat kid on cake. Red flags number 1 and 2. Shortly after that, she ended up being pregnant. And yes, I tested to make sure it was mine. Good man, that's a smart move. I took advice from my family, proposed and married her before the kid was born. Okay, and then you put after that green card question mark. What do you think? Since then,
sounds like the family put the pressure on to make sure he didn't have a kid out of wedlock like a good number of us Westerners. The fact that he says green card question mark makes it seem as though he thought about whether or not this was just a play for United States citizenship. She probably knew that getting knocked up would be a catalyst to a marriage proposal. But nah, let's not be so negative. Only women in the West are this manipulative. This is all just a coincidence.
Moved to a new state. I doubled my income, but she was never happy. She got a job of her own and had hoarded all of her money ever since. Finances are extremely contested, and she will only ever use her money for things that she approves of, mostly sending it to her family or travel or on her terms. She still wasn't happy. I built a new home. Still wasn't happy. Somewhere around here was when I first retained an attorney, but didn't execute because of the above. The list goes on. Cars, etc. Okay, so he's improved her life dramatically. She certainly got a pretty good deal out of this. And she even forced having a second kid with threats that she would find somebody else to do it with if I wouldn't. Wow. Red flag number 7.
Hold on. She threatens to get knocked up by somebody else if he didn't give her another baby. Boy, oh boy. This sounds like it's right out of the foreign wife manipulation playbook, but we all know there's no such a thing as that. That can't exist, especially among Asian women, because they love that men are men and are here to love, cherish, and serve above all things, including their own interests. They wouldn't dare do such a thing. That's just something that the women here in the West, in the United States, in the land of what is the damn thing called? Forgetting the word for it. What do they call that thing? Women's rights. There's another strong word, feminism. In the land of feminism, that's where this only exists. Anywhere else, this don't exist.
I truly feel death by a thousand paper cuts, as every time I concede to keep up with the pace, hoping to make things better, it always ends up being at the expense of my values and would further entrap me in this life. At this point, we are over 1 year with no intimacy, connection, or positive feedback about anything in our lives, and almost every confrontation escalates into fights, but everything and nothing ever gets resolved. From what I know, it's following textbook narcissism combined with contempt. If you didn't watch it, there's a video on contempt on my channel. I'll put a card up on the top right. You can check that out afterwards. He goes,
who cares? Who gives a damn what psychological definition or clinical diagnosis it falls under? You were getting played from day one and she's still playing the game, but that's impossible because she's not from the United States, right? Some of y'all are so damn smart, you're just plumb dumb. The fact that some of you even waste time putting identifiers into a search engine to get a 3-word term is exhausting. She's playing you like a flute, like a PlayStation, like a banjo, like a goddamn kazoo. In any case, this is just too far gone at this point, but let's continue.
Afterwards. He goes on to say, how do I wrap my head around breaking this cycle? I've had years to twist this and keep myself here being this long. My biggest challenge is the kids, fear of the divorce system here, losing half my time with them, not being able to protect them, being financially thrashed in the process, and losing many freedoms in the next 2 decades.
Okay, even though this guy set himself up, those feelings and that fear are totally understandable. Regardless of the decision you made to be with whomever, you can't help but shudder at the idea of losing contact with your children, even though you know you need to make a decision for yourself and sanity. So I don't want to poo-poo that. I mean, I'm mocking when I'm cry me a river, but at the same time, yes, when it comes to being taken away from your children or being limited in the capacity that you want to be, that's the thing that nightmares are made of. I get it.
I feel I have more influence over my future by staying together, more involvement over my kids' lives, and once things are contested, I think it will be a bigger challenge. You're probably right. I have done enough math to know that if I keep conceding for private schools, homes, cars, etc., I won't be able to afford to leave. Then travel opening back up, risks can escalate quickly. Okay, let's hop on the road and have a little discussion about our friend's crazy Chinese wife. And guys, just for frame and reference here, I've dealt with a lot of these over the years, and this Chinese wife story is pretty common. You know, the dragon wife, the dragon lady, whatever you want to call her.
I'm warning y'all, don't get with Chinese women. We are next level crazy. Keying your car is elementary, and we are PhD. Permanent head damage. Y'all think we picked you because of love? That's cute. By the 3rd date, we've already mapped out the trajectory of return on investment. And my friend, you are the single stock. Genetics, hair, check. Highest education, college? Loser, short sell. Massive debt, but a doctor, long-term investment, exercise and hold. By the time we moved in together, your favorite shirt is now my kitchen cloth. All of your entertainment is shut off from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., just like the Chinese TikTok.
I don't know if it's exclusive to Chinese culture, but a lot of white dudes end up getting wrapped up with Chinese gals. And actually, it's not always Chinese. I've seen this in other Asian cultures too. And they get turned into these like pussified former versions of themselves. Yes men, you know, if you will. They're required to...
Pause. First of all, let me back up a little bit. So it's common, he says. What a shock. Who would have ever thought that women from anywhere on the planet can be totally full of shit and totally manipulative and playing games with you? That fact aside, she didn't turn him into a yes man. He already was a yes man. His issue is that he thought such a flaw would work as long as the woman wasn't from the Western Hemisphere. See, that's the game that you dudes play. You think that the only problem, the biggest batch, you don't need to be anything other than a good guy and say yes to everything outside of the United States. But you're going to find out. He fucked around and he found out. But let's get back into it.
Generate a stamp that says yes on it, and everything she says, yes, 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 yes. You just stamp that shit all day long. And that's not genuine burning desire. That is not a good life. You're essentially spending your entire life trying to make an unhappy person happy. And it ain't nowhere you to live, my friend. Now, you linked your social. I took a look at your life as it's held out to the public. And as always, it's always rainbows and butterflies, you know, happy pictures of happy children, park, nice picture of the home with the cars in front, all the standard stuff, a random picture of her peppered here and there. And anybody that would be checking that out, that's in the public, that might work with this guy, that might come across him and follow him, would just think, oh, this guy's got an awesome life. Maybe I should go find a woman like that and create a family like this too. And we'll all, you know, it'll all be tickety-boo and fine. But that's the reality of social media. It's a highlight reel too, right? So people only are able to put their best foot forward, and anything that sucks or isn't fun for them, it's hidden and revealed in a situation like this. So what would I do in a situation like this? Well, first of all, the lesson here for the younger guys that are contemplating getting married, having children, maybe like the idea of being a passport bro. Have you heard the passport bro story before, where these North American guys or these Western guys think that it's a good idea to go to a country in Asia or South America? They might have a thing for Latinos. They might have a thing for Asian women.
Way hell, I was waiting for him to say it. You goddamn passport bros keep popping up. I've been saying this for quite some time now, that the idea that you can just get your passport and you'll become some globe-trotting Don Juan is ridiculous. Being mediocre and not being able to genuinely attract women doesn't wear off when you skip time zones and wake up in another hemisphere. What does stand out is your Western look and your Western currency. But I digress. Let's get back to the video, and let's just get back to the video before I really get to talk my shit.
And then they go and do this exact same thing that our friend is doing over here, and they often end up in the exact same scenario. You see, if you don't get your head screwed on right and you don't understand what women respond to, what they don't respond to, how to game women, how to live your life as an unplugged man.
Whoa. Did he say how to game women? Is he mentioning game? Game. Okay, yeah, let's go. I just wanted, did he mention game? How to game women? Okay.
As I would put it, as it's described in my book, then you're going to run into problems like this. It doesn't matter where you get the woman from, you're always going to run into problems like this if you don't know how to vet for red flags and know how to hold frame. I don't think that our friend here,
if you don't know how to vet for red flags, same shit you would have to do in the United States is applicable around the world. Thinking that you're just going to grab a passport, hop the pond, land somewhere else, and just get it all figured out because they just love men so much. Man, stop playing your goddamn self. Come on, man. Stop playing. And quit telling other men this, because they're going to go do it, and then they're going to be looking like fools just like this guy here.
Was aware of any of this stuff before he met this gal, because I can tell by the pictures the kid is older than 3 years, and he said he's only been following my channel for 3 years, so these problems had begun years and years before that. So unfortunately I don't have a time machine to put you back in, my friend, but that's the lesson for the younger guys. Vet. Make sure you use the red flags that I described in my book. If you don't have the book, that's fine. You can get the red flags for free by opting into my email list. It's pinned below in the top comment. And make sure you understand what they are and the significance.
Man, you can get the red flags for free by talking to anybody who got any goddamn good sense. I'll give y'all the red flags for free. Matter of factly, I'm going to do I want to do a segment on vetting women, especially if you actually want to get married. I don't care what part of the world you're going to do this. There are some very simple, basic things that you can do, some things that you can put in place. You don't ask questions. You don't have to ask a bunch of questions. You don't slide her a question in there and hope that she fills out this multiple choice. You don't have to play games. You don't have to test her. It's just some very basic things you can do in order to vet a woman and see whether she's wife material or everything else. There's wife material and everything else.
Significance of them when you're dealing with women, because a lot of guys want to have a family and children, and they can potentially end up in an environment or a scenario exactly like our friend here, where their home, as he described at the very beginning, has become the most uncomfortable place in his world. And your house should be a place of comfort. You should come home from work after chasing excellence, putting a dent in the universe, doing things of significance with your life, to a warm, loving wife who is enthusiastic about being in your arms and laying with you in a bed, right? Who's a great mom, who's a great wife, who helps, make your life a better place. This guy's life is a disaster, and he's done all the right things. He's doubled his income, he's bought the nice house, he has the nice cars in the driveway. I've seen all the photographs. It looks like he's done exactly what he's been told to do. And again, they tell women different things from men. They tell women, you do what's...
Pause. See, this idea that he's did everything he was supposed to do, where did they come up with that? He's doubled his income. He's bought a nice house. He has nice cars in his driveway. Yeah, the material shit. Listen, this part is what a lot of men are told and have been sold, but add that to what he said a minute ago, what this man in the video said a minute ago about gaming women and vetting them. And look, if you want your material possessions and the things that you provide to be enough, that's fantastic. But in this day and age, that creates the type of transactional relationship dynamic to where the woman is there strictly based on what you can do for her. Her presence is based purely on what he can do. And for you doom and gloom, red pill, black pill, manosphere dudes that think that all men/women's romantic relationships are totally transactional, you're wrong, at least when it comes to the material things. Relationships by and large are transactional, but in more of a nuanced sense, in the intangible things. That's where the transactions are more apparent, except for when you believe that acquiring things and being able to provide things is going to get you the best version of a relationship and a woman that you can possibly find on the entire planet. Please.
You do what's right for you, girl, but they'll tell guys, you do what's right, period. Now, back to this guy's problem. What would I do? I'd get out. I'll be honest with you. Now, it's going to require some strategic planning. You've already moved states, so moving states doesn't seem to be a problem for you. What I would do is I would take a look at the United States and find out which state has the best laws for fathers. There are lots of resources out there online if you just start Googling.
Absolutely, absolutely incredibly good advice. And again, he's talking about having a plan. Guys, the worst thing you can do in a marriage where you know it's going south, you can see where this is going, is to sit back and hope that it gets better. That just doesn't happen. Y'all know the statistics. Women file for divorce more than men. And I think that's because it's not because men don't know that the marriage is over. It's because men want to wait for the day that it's going to get better. Whereas the woman is already, her escape strategy is already there. So men, you got to do your own due damn diligence. When you get to that point where you realize it's over too, don't wait for the spoiled milk to become better all of a sudden when you put it back in the fridge. The milk is spoiled. Throw it out. Like he said, you got to have a strategy. Like he said, you got to start looking at states that are fair when it comes to divorce. And I'm pretty sure he's going to give some more details to this. So I don't want to talk my shit to the point where you guys tune out and don't get what this man has to say, because what he's finna say is really valuable.
There's organizations and groups and nonprofits that rank all the states by friendliness to fathers in divorce or in custodial issues and stuff like that. And by default, the first thing I would do, don't tell her why you're moving to the state. Just tell her you're going to buy her a nicer house or you got a better job. I assume you can work remotely by the way you described your job. Either that or remote work will either be required or you'll have to get a new job to do this. But I would move to a state that's friendly to fathers if you're not already in one right now. So that would be the first step, because if you're going to get divorced, like you already know, her immediate strategy is, well, I'll just leave the country and take the children with me. And make no mistake, I've seen this happen a lot of times with these Chinese wives. It's not an empty threat. They do it, and there's lots of videos online of guys complaining about it. I think Tech Lead, if I'm not mistaken, a large YouTube channel with over 1 million subs, has several videos where he's talking about his wife stealing his child and basically taking off back to Asia. Now, back to our friend over here. So move to a state that's friendlier to fathers.
Man, that has to suck. Again, man, I empathize with any man that's going to be in a situation or dynamic where he's struggling just to have contact with his children, just to be a part of his children's life. That's where the jokes and the laughs and the me giving guys a hard time, that goes away. I'm a father, so and I've been through a divorce, and I've had to be distant, and it sucks. It sucks, but it's even worse when the woman has the upper hand and there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. And you guys thinking that you just get to go overseas, find a wife, bring her back here, and they don't play the games. Man, they are taught. They have researched your country. They know how this country allows women, this feminist country that you guys, hate so much. Yeah, bring them back over here and you'll find out. And then in other countries, you got to also consider that you got to adapt to their customs and their ways. So you get over there and you might also find out that you don't have as much power and control because you're not local. You're not from there. You're a foreigner to them. So in any case, it all goes back to vetting. It all goes back to that. Interesting the way that works.
Friendlier to fathers. Consult with a lawyer to plan your strategy. Let your lawyer know what her strategy is, and make sure that you take all the appropriate steps to ensure that you remain in your children's lives, that you can continue to parent them. A shared parenting plan is ideal. It's where the children spend about equal time with both parents. She's clearly batshit crazy. I don't care if she's narcissistic or what it is that the diagnosis might end up being, but she is a difficult woman. And a difficult woman in a marriage will become even more difficult in a divorce. The upshot of all that is, well, guess what? You're going to be able to have sex again because...
Man, listen. Man, okay, I feel like I'm on repeat. This is why vetting is important. You get all these doom and gloomers that's going to tell you marriage isn't at the advantage of a man and you shouldn't get married. They're going to try to scare you guys away from marriage. It's all about choosing the right person. And can you attempt to choose the right person and still choose wrong? Absolutely. This guy is an example of that. And a lot of you guys that have this idea that you can just go to another country as is and just get somebody because they worship men and because men are such a high priority or it's a patriarchal country and these women would never, man, please, you will find out that it doesn't quite work like that. But essentially, it's all about that vetting process from day one, because like he said, if she's difficult in the marriage, she's not going to all of a sudden lighten up when it's time to get a divorce. That's not how that works. So consider these things. You don't want to be going into a marriage thinking about, in the event that I get a divorce, I need her to work with me. You're going to marry a woman that's working with you from day one. And then so if things don't work out and you end up in a divorce situation, you don't have to jump through all these hoops and worry about a person flipping the script on you. Got it? It's all about that vetting process. It always comes back to that.
You're not going to be dealing with a sexless marriage type of situation. You're going to be able to live your life on your terms. She's not going to be able to tell you much of what to do, especially if you're in a state that's friendly to fathers, not hostile towards fathers. Must be friendly. Do that research first. And you just carry on living your life as a divorced single dad with your 2 kids. Raise them as best as you can. Do not invite psychopath women into your life like our friend over here ever again. Doesn't matter how hot she is or what she's doing that the other girls didn't do. If she demonstrates red flags, you do not invite her into your life. Now, you've mentioned 1, 2, and 7 red flags. I don't know if you're referencing the ones in my list, because there's 20, or you skipped 3 through 6, but I guarantee she's got a lot more than just those 3 that you posted over there in your written request. That is my advice for you. Get out. You will never, ever find an opportunity to make an unhappy woman happy for you that does not have genuine burning desire. I talked about this, I believe it was chapter 3 in my book. You only ever want to deal with women that have genuine burning desire for you. Anything else is a pass. Anything else is a pass.
Genuine burning desire. I heard that somewhere. I think I heard that bullshit. Well, it's not bullshit, but I think I heard it from Fresh and Fit somewhere. And coming from them, it's bullshit because they don't live that life. But anyway, this is not necessarily a dig at them. Yeah, it was. Who cares? At any rate, genuine burning desire. Does she just like you? Does she just like you? And sometimes that woman may come in a package that is less desirable than someone else. Like, you just gotta like who likes you, right? And it doesn't matter where they are on the planet. But the moment you compromise yourself by thinking the things that you have are going to change that dynamic, man, we are not in that type of world. We're not in a world where women's needs or their needs to survive are the things that are going to the thing that's going to force them to just tolerate and build this thing up inside of them to be with, love, and respect a man. That's not the way it works. And this is getting to be more worldwide now. Everybody's thinking that this is just something that's in the West. No, it's in all developed nations. This is the way the world is. Sorry, so you guys better adapt to it, if nothing else. But genuine burning desire is somebody who just likes you, somebody who's just into you. Like who likes you, love who loves you, and give them the best that you got. Don't work hard and jump through all these hoops for this woman that just does not want you. Why would anybody do that? I don't know.
You made the mistake of staying in a relationship and knocking up a woman that didn't have genuine burning desire for you because you already knew that she wasn't going to be intimate with you when you started to have sex with her and unloading to have a kid due to her demands, obviously. And I'm sure something to do with residency or a green card was in there somewhere. So guys, pay attention. Don't make a mistake like this guy. If you're this guy, I'm talking to you, obviously, get out. This is not going to get better. You are not going to find a way to make this better. She is not going to take any kind of therapy or counseling, and you putting your foot down won't change anything. In fact, you putting your foot down and trying to set boundaries will probably make things worse. Women like this don't respect boundaries. And had you vetted for that early on when you were dating with her, or dating her at the time, then you would have just said, I'm out. You're better off being alone than dealing with a psychopath like this. You are far better off being alone with no children than dealing with a psychopath like this, because women like this will make your life absolutely miserable. Get out. Run, Forrest, run. Go now.
I 100% absolutely agree. There's no debates. There's not a single thing he said that I disagreed with. Only thing that I felt like challenging was when he said you did everything you were supposed to do, but I believe that, he said you did everything you were told to do, right? You were supposed to do, or you were told that you were supposed to do. And I don't think he was saying that in a manner that you should be getting your desired results, because prior to that, he talked about vetting a woman, and he talked about catching those red flags, and gaming women. He talked about gaming women. So those things are very specific. Essentially, you got to put into work to know how to appeal to a woman's sensibilities, to appeal to the woman you want, her sensibilities, the type of woman you want, whatever it is. You don't get to just go to college and make a fortune or make some money or do any of this stuff and just all of a sudden women are just going to come flocking to you. And then if they don't in your local area, you just get to forget it. I'm just going to get a passport. I'm going to go abroad and I'm just going to get me one. And then they're just going to treat me great because they just love men over there that are decent guys. That's not the way that it works. Stop believing it. Don't let nobody convince you of that nonsense. And that's all I got for this. Passport Bros, this is a shout out to you guys because you keep winning. Just keep on winning. And that's all for this edition of Unsolicited Opinions. I appreciate you guys for hanging around through the entire video. Be sure to give your perspectives in the comments. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, do subscribe. Until next time, I'm out of here.